There's this old story of two young men. It was a beautiful spring afternoon 25 years ago, and they were both graduating from the same college. Now, these two young men were very much alike. They were both better than average students. They were both likable. They had lots of friends. And they both had big hopes and dreams for the future. Now, it's 25 years later. They're returning to their college for their 25th anniversary, and they're still very much alike. They're both happily married. They both had 3 children. And they actually both gone to work for the same company after they graduated. And amazingly enough, they were still at that same company. But there was one big difference. One of them was the manager of a small department at that company, and one was the president. Have you ever wondered what makes those differences in people's lives? What are the key decision points, the key turning points that takes them down different paths? What if there's a formula that, once learned, could alter the future path of your life, that could radically transform your business success and your financial success? Would you want to know that formula? Well, I've got it. I'm Jeff Walker, and since 2005, I've been teaching that formula. It's called the Product Launch Formula. I've trained over 10,000 entrepreneurs how to launch their businesses, their products, their brands. And in that time, my students and clients have done hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. In fact, that's why Forbes.com called me the $400 million man. Now, 2 important things to remember. First, I didn't make all that money. It's my students and clients that have done all those sales. And second, that article's a few years old now, and that number, that $400 million number, is way bigger now. Now, that story of the 2 young men that I just told you, that came from a famous advertisement for the Wall Street Journal. It was written by Martin Conroy, and it ran for decades. The difference between those 2 young men came down to education and training. And when I hear that story, I'm often reminded of my Product Launch Formula students. So many of them have had life-altering launches that completely changed the path of their lives. And I can't help but think of John Gallagher. He had an educational board game about medicinal plants. He tried to launch his board game, and he only sold 12 games. That was especially painful since his family was on food stamps at the time, and he was raising 2 young kids. But John didn't give up. He took my Product Launch Formula training and tried to launch his game for a second time. He had no additional resources other than Product Launch Formula, and he sold 670 games, from 12 sales to 670 sales. In other words, he did 55 times better. Now, I certainly can't claim that you're going to get 50 times results, or that it's a typical result, because it's not. But that launch completely changed the trajectory of John's life. And the thing is, when you get that kind of result, well, it's not going to be your last launch. John has now he's done lots and lots of launches, and he's done it for all kinds of different products. And his launches keep getting better. And now he's got a super successful business with 5 employees, and his business has grown every year since. Every year since that first launch, he's grown his business year after year. It's a truly remarkable story, and it's not typical. But I have literally dozens of other stories I can tell you of Product Launch Formula students who've made crazy, amazing transformations in their lives. And I often think about, where would they be if they hadn't made that fateful decision to step into a bigger vision for themselves, a vision of a bigger income, a bigger lifestyle, a bigger impact, if they hadn't stepped up into my Product Launch Formula coaching? So that's the big question that this video is all about. Are you ready to step up into a bigger vision? Are you ready to start your business or dramatically grow your current business? Are you ready to step into everything that would mean for you, a bigger income, a bigger, more fulfilled lifestyle, and a bigger impact in the world? Okay, we've got a lot of ground to cover in this video, and let's get rolling. So you've undoubtedly seen a lot of other marketing and business building programs. There's thousands of them. And I'm not about to slam any of those programs because, frankly, lots of them are really good. Personally, I go through lots and lots of training because I know that time and money that I put into my education is the best investment that I can make. But I have one question for you. Do you ever notice how those programs are actually marketed? I mean, don't look at what they're teaching in the programs. Take a look at what they're actually doing in their marketing. How are they selling their programs? How do those gurus and experts actually market their programs? Think about it. If you look closely, maybe 90% of them are using my formula, the Product Launch Formula. Pretty interesting to think about, isn't it? There's only one reason those experts keep using PLF: because it works. If it ever stopped working, then they would stop using it. But my formula has been the single go-to strategy that almost all the top gurus and experts use ever since I first started teaching this back in 2005. Now, here's another little secret. You don't need to be a guru or an expert to use Product Launch Formula. Actually, it's the opposite. It's the best way to become known as a guru or expert or leader or authority The best way to do it is with a product launch formula launch. This is how regular people become known as gurus. So this is the deal. No one is born an expert or a guru or a market leader. Just take a look at me. When I started this whole thing, I was a stay-at-home dad at home taking care of a couple little babies. And I hadn't made any money in years. I had nothing going for me except this desperate desire to change my circumstances and to support my family. Well, back then I had one of those key turning points in my life. I started my first online business in 1996, and since I had no sales or marketing experience, I gradually invented this new way to sell stuff. A way that didn't feel slimy, a way that felt authentic, honest, and congruent. At the time, I didn't know I was completely going to change the marketing and sales world. I was just really hungry to change my family's fortunes. But at the time, I was actually inventing the product launch formula. The thing is, every successful business, every successful product, every successful brand starts with a successful launch. You can't start slowly and then wither away from there. And there's nothing, and I mean nothing, that can give you the almost instant momentum, leverage, positioning, and cash flow that product launch formula does. Now, the first time that you hit that launch button, your life will be changed forever. The first time I did it, I realized I now had control over my life. I had control over my destiny. That first sale I made, well, I jumped so high, my life, it changed in an instant. I almost hit the ceiling, I jumped so high, because I knew that if I did it once, I could do it over and over and over, and I might even get better at it. Now, since you're watching this video, I know that you have some type of a dream. You have a vision of building your own business, of taking control of your life, of making an impact. Or maybe you already have a business, but you know it could be so much better, so much more leveraged. Or maybe you're an author or soon to be author, and you just want to get your book out there in a really big way. Well, that's why I built PLF. That's why I've spent every year since 2005 making it better and better and better. So let's talk about how this is going to change your life, because there really are 5 big game changers. First, let's talk about the 2 big elephants in the room. These are the 2 biggies. I bet you one of these might be in the back of your mind. I'm talking about your list and your products. When it comes to your list, there are only 2 categories of people. There are those that haven't started building their list yet, don't have a list at all, and there are those who want a bigger list. No matter what business you're in, you always need to focus on building your list. If you haven't started yet, you need to get started. And really, the getting started part is really the hardest part. Now, if you've got a list, no matter what the size, then you know that you need to grow it. And you need to grow your relationship to your list. And after being in this business since 1996, I can tell you that the absolute best way to build your list is with a product launch. If you're just starting from scratch, then the seed launch is your ticket. You can get started with nothing, no list, no product, and quickly build from there. If you've already got a list, then the internal launch is the way to go, because it will give you the best kind of list, a list that's built through viral word of mouth. And then when you're ready to step up to the joint venture launch, well, that's where you can add thousands of people to your list in a matter of days. Of course, if you don't have a great relationship with the list, it really doesn't matter how big the list is. It's all about your relationship with your list. And your launch will give you the warmest, best list relationship you'll ever have. I've seen the empirical data prove this over and over and over. My open rates and my click rates for my emails are always 6 to 9 times higher when I go through a launch. And my clients see the same thing. I'll get back to your list in a minute, but first I need to talk about the other big elephant in the room, and that's product. This is the deal. It's okay to sell other people's products, and I think that is a place in most businesses, but ultimately, if you're going to have real control over your business and your life, you're going to eventually need your own product. When you've got a list and your own product, then nothing, and I mean nothing, gives you more control in your business and in your life. And if you're going to create your own product, doesn't it make sense to create one that the market really wants to buy? Wouldn't it make it a lot easier to create a product if you knew with absolute certainty that people wanted to buy it? I mean, lots of times people procrastinate on stuff like creating a product, me included. You worry about making the product perfect. I know that I do. But if someone is basically pounding on your door with cash in hand, begging to take their money, would that make it any easier to create your product? I bet it would. Well, that's what the seed launch will do for you. It's about getting paid before you create your product. It's about letting your new clients help you co-create the product by telling you exactly what should go in the product. The seed launch is the single best product getting strategy in the world. Just think about starting with no list and no product and getting paid to create your product. The seed launch is something you'll come back to over and over, even after your business is established. But that's just the first of the 3 big guns in the PLF arsenal. The next step, where you really have a big jump in leverage, is the internal launch. If you already have an existing business, this is probably where you're going to start. And I'm going to come out and just say this right off. My goal for you in your internal launch is for you to have the biggest sales week in the history of your business. In fact, my real goal is for you to make a year's worth of sales in a single week. Now that's a big goal. Let's call that a stretch goal. It's certainly not an income claim or anything like that, but it's something I personally have achieved many times. And it's something that many of my PLF owners have achieved. Just like the seed launch, you'll come back to the internal launch over and over. I continue to use the internal launch to this very day. Then, when it's time to really pour gasoline on the fire, you'll move on to the JV launch. JV stands for joint venture. And in the JV launch, you're leveraging lists of other people. So maybe by this point, you've built up a really nice subscriber list. And that's awesome. But there might be 5 or 10 other people in your market that also have great email lists. In a JV launch, they will act as your joint venture partner or affiliate, and they'll mail all their lists about your launch. And all of a sudden, you might have tens of thousands of people getting emails about your launch. Now, nothing is typical, of course, but in my JV launches, I often had 30,000, 40,000, or even 50,000 people to my list in a matter of days. And that's obviously really cool, and the results can be, well, they're almost shocking. Again, nothing is typical, and there's a lot of work to be done in a JV launch. But this is how I've gone from doing a seed launch where I sold just 6 copies of my product, of a new product, and then within 6 months, I built up to a JV launch that did $600,000 in sales in a single week. Now, I don't get to keep all that money because you pay commissions to your joint venture partners. But still, you have to agree that's a pretty amazing result. The thing is, it's all a formula. And with this formula, you can start where you are and go forward from there. And there's a bit of a secret that you probably don't know. It's something I've experienced and that hundreds of my PLF owners have experienced. But let me tell you, until you actually have this experience, it's really difficult to understand the true power. It's called the launch echo. This is what I mean. If you stop and think about it really hard, I bet you can imagine having a big launch. You can imagine all that money flooding into your bank account. When I first started out, my ultimate dream was to do $10,000 in a launch. That was the ultimate dream. That seemed like a crazy amount of money, but I dreamed of it. And the funny thing is, it didn't take me all that long until I hit that goal. I didn't get at my first launch or my second launch, but I got there pretty quick. Then when I got there, I hit 10,000, my dream was $30,000. And I got there. After I hit 30,000, my next goal was $100,000. It was just a crazy jump. But then when I hit that, then my goal was $1 million. Everyone is different, and everyone has a different number. So just take a second and think of your number. What's a really big result for you? A number that's really large but still feels within reach. It could be $2,000 or $10,000 or $30,000 or $100,000, or it could even be more. Think about that number. Think about your number. Okay, do you have your number? Picture it in your mind. So here's the thing. When you put in the work and actually hit your goal, well, it's an amazing accomplishment. You're excited. You're jumping to the ceiling like I was. You'll never forget that first launch. But then comes something you didn't expect. It's the launch echo. Because all of a sudden, all these extra amazing benefits start coming into your business and your life. You notice that people are treating you differently. They're treating you with more respect. Even the gurus, the experts, the leaders in your market are returning your calls. They're answering your emails. People are treating you like an authority, like an expert. Yes, even like a guru. People are sending you free stuff. They're sending you gifts. They're asking you to promote their next launch. They're asking to promote your next launch. They want to interview you. They want you to speak at their event. They want to partner with you. They want you to help them produce a product. They want you to join your team. They want to buy another product from you. That's the launch echo. And I'm sure you can understand it. Your launch just gave you this leadership positioning in your market that most people take years or even decades to achieve. And the thing is, this launch echo works in every market and every niche. Markets from dog agility training to tennis instruction to raw food to health food to books to e-commerce to massage therapy to mixed martial arts to wellness to holistic healing to life coaching to real estate to business coaching to artwork, marching band accessories to meditation, brain trauma, horse ballet. I could go on and on and on. And it's worked all over the world, from Asia to Africa to South and Central America, all over Europe, Mexico, Canada, Australia, the UK. In fact, the last time I opened enrollment for a product launch formula class, we had people join us from 43 different countries. So you might be wondering, how does this actually work? How do you put the awesome power of product launch formula to work in your business and your life? So this is the deal. I've been teaching PLF since 2005. And unlike so many other training programs that are off the market in a few months, I've kept on refining it. In fact, I've now remade the course 5 times. Each version has been a massive upgrade because the market's always changing and because my PLF owners and we're always creating new tactics and strategies. So first off, you get the 6 modules of the Product Launch Formula Coaching Program. I've broken up this training into individual training modules where I walk you through all the steps to create and sequence your product launch. It's all set up so that we go through a module every 7 to 9 days. However, if you've got scheduling issues or you fall behind, no problem. You can always work at your own pace and catch up later. And after the program's over, you're going to be able to go back through the material. And you'll find that the ability to review that material as often as you like and at your own convenience, it's simply priceless. You'll also get detailed launch templates, so you can literally fill in the blanks on the way to your launch. Now, in those 6 modules, we're going to cover the core strategies and tactics that you use to create massive anticipation and excitement in your market before you even open up your shopping cart. You'll learn the exact sequencing and all the nuances behind the seed launch, the internal launch, and the JV launch. Those are those big 3 launches. You'll work your way through my templates to create your own pre-launch content, build a crushing offer that your prospects they're going to be drooling over your offer. And this is where it all comes together. You've got your pre-launch mojo working, but now you want to bring it down the home stretch for maximum impact. How do you tailor your offer as you come down to launch day? How do you do the pressure stack properly so as you go into your launch? For that matter, what happens when you open the shopping cart and the day after you open cart? How do you use your early results to plan and drive the rest of your launch? What should you be sending to your prospects once you go live? And how about your partners? And what about your new customers? How do you take care of them? What are the 3 key things to do during your actual launch day to maximize your results? And what the heck is a Walker W? And what does it mean about the end of your launch? How do you structure and manage bonuses during your launch to keep the buying frenzy going? I'll show you how to do all of that in Product Launch Formula. And here's a pesky little detail. How do you make sure you actually get paid? That you don't run into trouble with your payment processors when you get a huge surge in sales? And how about those quick launches? The quick launches are for those times when you don't want to put together a full launch, but you need to bring in a quick surge of sales in a few days. Those are those quick cash on demand launches, and I love them. And how about book launches? How does all this apply to book launches? Well, I've got a new section in PLF that's all about book launches, both fiction and nonfiction. Many would-be authors think that your job is done when you finish the manuscript, but really nothing could be further from the truth. If you're not marketing your book, then it's not selling. And there's no better way to market your book than with a launch. And then there's the evergreen launch. This is where you create a system so that any new prospects coming into your business, well, they get their very own launch shortly after they join your list. This means you get the power of you get all that power of Product Launch Formula, but you get it all year round. Okay, so that was a brief description of stuff that we'll cover in the 6 modules. And I easily could have talked for 30 minutes about each of those modules, but then this video would have gone forever. And frankly, you don't have time for something like that. I know your time is tight, and I've got to get rolling. I've got a coaching program to get underway. So the bottom line is that we're going to cover a lot of ground over those 6 weeks, and you're going to come out the other end with a complete product launch. In other words, you'll have your entire sequence from the start of pre-launch all the way through your post-launch follow-up, including the emails you're going to send, the blog posts, the pre-launch content you'll release, the timing, everything. But that's not enough. I want to take you beyond just a plan and right into action. So I'm going to give you my massive swipe file collection. I'm talking about dozens of pieces of email copy, blog copy, videos, sales letters from real live launches, both from me and from my students. This is battle-tested copy. Most of it's copy I created from scratch for my clients. I made each of them sign an agreement that I retained all rights to the copy, and it's a complete goldmine. These pieces come from launches I did, which brought in a total of $7,760,000 between them. That's over $7 million in swipe copy. When I added up what my clients paid me for that copy, it came out to roughly $415,000. Now, those are all crazy numbers, but the bottom line is that you're going to get an amazing amount of sales materials that you can take and drop right into your launch. You might have to tweak them a little bit, but they're going to be just drop them right in and plug and play material. And all of a sudden, those blank spots on your product launch blueprint, they start to get filled in fast with real, live, proven copy. And most of that copy is not only Jeff Walker approved, it's actually Jeff Walker created. Next, because I love to teach from examples, we'll have hot seats and case studies. The hot seats are where I critique members' product launch blueprints. I'll move through them quickly, just taking 10 or 20 minutes per hot seat. These will be done publicly so everyone can learn from them. And I plan on doing a bunch of them. I'll be looking at storylines, sequences, offers, copy, and overall launch plans. And really, if this is the only thing you got from this program, you'd be getting an incredible bargain. This is one of the most rapid-fire learning environments you're ever going to see. And here's a hint. If you want to get me to perform one of those hot seats on your business, then get your registration in early. The earliest registrations will get the highest priority when it comes time for a hot seat selection. Now, when it comes to case studies, well, it's a given. I'm going to walk you through my exact sequences from launches I've done. I'll take you through each email and blog post and video and every other component, and I'll show you what I did and, more importantly, why I did it. But I'm also going to be showing you some of my student launches, and I'll be going through them in great detail, and I'll critique their entire sequence. I found that your best learning will often come from these real-world hot seats and case studies, and frankly, I'll keep on doing these for you for quite a while. But we're not done yet. Then there's the PLF portal, including the PLF community. This is something we added a few years ago, and it was a huge win. In fact, we immediately saw our PLF owners getting better results because they had the full support of an incredibly strong community of their fellow members. The community, well, that's where you get your questions answered, that you celebrate your victories, and where you get an encouraging word when you need it. You're never alone there. You are never alone. Our incredibly strong PLF community is a big source of pride and joy for me, and it will be an amazing resource for you. And then comes the part that basically takes PLF to an entirely different level, and that's our live coaching calls. These are deep dive calls where I'll get on the phone with you and all the other PLF owners, and I'll take the material even deeper and I'll answer your questions, your individual questions. You get your questions answered, and you also get to hear the questions from other PLF owners. And frankly, this is where I'm at my best. Live, unscripted, answering everything from newbie to ultra advanced questions. These calls are awesome. We have a lot of fun, and we get an amazing amount of work done on them. Plus, you'll get the recordings of those deep dive coaching calls. And this way you can go back through all the questions your fellow students have had, and you can internalize both my answers and the way I approach those questions. So you can watch not only how I'm answering them, but go meta on it and watch how I'm actually building this program out. Finally, you'll have access to me and my platinum level coaches answering your questions in a private forum for a full 6 months. This will be a private area in the PLF portal where you can go in and ask questions. My coaches, my team, and we'll be in there every week, and we'll be answering your questions. This is where we take your PLF experience to the highest level and get your specific questions answered. So by now you're probably thinking that I've put together a pretty amazing offer, but as you'll learn, I'm a big fan of creating what I call a crushing offer. That's an offer that is so over the top that it's almost impossible to refuse. So I thought long and hard about how can I make this offer even better, and I came up with not one, not two, but 3 amazing bonuses. Each one of these bonuses would easily be worth more than the cost of the entire PLF course. The first bonus is all about your list. It's about building your list and building your relationship to your list. You'll get my entire Launching Your List 2.0 course. This course shows you how to build a list from scratch, and it teaches you how to profit from that list. Now, once you build it, the value of your list is, well, it's literally impossible to calculate. It keeps on kicking out money to you week after week. And having a list is literally like having a license to print money. And that's what you'll have with my Launching Your List 2.0 course. I've never sold this course to the general public, but when I do, it will be likely $997. And you'll get this entire course for free when you first log into the PLF portal. It will be waiting for you. Okay, next up, the second over-the-top bonus is my product creation course. If you don't have a product yet, this course will teach you how to get one fast. Creating information products is inexpensive. In fact, it's nearly free. You almost surely already have the tools you need. And it's fast, and it can be even fun. More important, it puts you in charge of your destiny. When you have your own product or products, then you've got control, and you'll be launch ready. This course it's going to take the mystery out of creating products, all the way from inexpensive ebooks up to expensive home study products, membership sites, even live seminars and workshops. I've never sold this course before, but when I do, it will be for $997. So by now you're probably wondering, what the cost for product launch formula will be. Well, the reality is that PLF won't cost you anything. What product launch formula is about it's about making you money. It's an investment in yourself and your business. In fact, here's why it's physically impossible for you to lose. First, you need to be willing to invest $1,997 to reserve your spot, or $397 if you use the payment option. This covers my time and my team's time in putting all this together for you. Plus, it ensures that only serious people apply. Now, all investments have risks, except this one. There are two ways this investment can go for you. Here's the first scenario. You put my product launch formula strategies and tactics to work and crush it with your launch. And in that case, well, you're probably going to need a calculator to figure out what your return on investment is. The second scenario goes like this. You just don't do anything with the material, or you get distracted, or it's just not for you. It's just not your thing. Well, that's okay. It happens. In this case, you just take advantage of my 30-day free look policy and just send me a note and I'll get you a refund as soon as possible, right away, immediately. No harm, no foul, no hard feelings. So either you get a crazy return on your investment or you get your money back. Now, I don't know about you, but I sure wish there were some more investments that I could get that had those kind of options. Basically, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. You have a full 30 days to see if my product launch formula coaching program is right for you. If you determine that it isn't, just let us know. We'll get you your money back. We'll gladly refund your money. No hassle, no hard feelings. So go ahead, click the button below the video and join me in the product launch formula coaching program. Now, one last thing I feel like just have to mention this. I'm not going to try to pull some big scarcity thing here. I've seen all those same marketing ploys that you have, and just like you, I'm completely sick of them. They're completely lame. This isn't going to be anything like that. But this is the deal. I open product launch formula to the general public once per year. We open registration for a few days, usually between 2 days and 5 days, and then we close down registration and we start the class. If you want to get in, then you have to act quickly, because the registration window is never open for very long. However, if you miss out, well, don't freak out. The odds are pretty good that I'm going to be offering I'll give you another chance at product launch formula in another 12 to 14 months. Product launch formula is not about to stop working. I'm not about to stop teaching it. If you're not ready to step up today, then maybe a year from now. But the question is, this is what I always ask myself. If not now, when? If you want a different result in your life or business, then you have to take some type of a different action. So one last thing. You know, some people think that I have some magical product launch powers, that and got some magical marketing powers. But this whole thing is not about me. It's about the formula. I'm not some marketing magician. I just stumbled onto a discovery more than 10 years ago. That discovery has become the product launch formula. Since then, I've continually worked on it, refining it, adding to it, perfecting it. The result is a method, a system, a formula that my students have applied very successfully over and over and over. Because that's what's important. I've successfully taught others how to apply this formula over and over in all kinds of crazy markets and niches with all kinds of crazy products. Remember, this is all about baby steps. It's all about taking that first action and building on that action and gradually improving and gradually creating the business and the life that you deserve. You know, if you're ready to have that kind of success, then your next step is to click the order button below and get registered for the Product Launch Formula Coaching Program. You know, I started this video with the story of the two young men. One stepped up and invested in his training and his future. I faced a similar decision in my life, whether I was ready to step up and invest in my future. I'm so incredibly fortunate that I said yes. And that decision, it took me from being a broke, stay-at-home dad to running a multi-million-dollar business and helping thousands and thousands of people. I told you about John Gallagher. At one point, John was faced with a decision. Did he invest in his future or not? His family was on food stamps. He was trying to support his wife and his two young kids. He sat there looking at that Buy Now button on his computer screen. Should he invest in Product Launch Formula or not? He was at this crossroads. The path in his life could go one of two different ways. Thankfully, he made the decision to step up, to invest in himself. That one decision has reverberated through every area of his life. Where he lives, how he spends his time, what house he lives in, the car he drives, where his kids go to school, the food his family eats every day, and the impact he can make in the world. The difference in his life is breathtaking. Every one of those areas in his life is dramatically better today than it was a few short years ago when he made the decision to invest in himself and the Product Launch Formula. If you tried to buy back PLF from John, he wouldn't sell it to you for 100 times what he paid. There's just absolutely no way. Now, you have a big decision to make. I can't make it for you. The only thing I can do is tell you that product launch formula works. It absolutely works. It's worked for me, and it's worked for hundreds and hundreds of my PLF owners. Of course, you have to learn the formula and you have to do the work. You have to work the formula, but the formula works. Many others have made this decision before you. Will Hamilton, well, he was a tennis coach trying to figure out how to sell tennis instruction materials from his parents' basement. It wasn't working for him until he invested in PLF. Now he's got a hugely successful business, and he's worked with some of the highest level pro tennis players in the world. Or Susan Garrett, she was a successful dog trainer, but she could only work with a few dozen people per year. She had to travel constantly to do so. Now she has a line of products and an incredibly successful business, and she helps tens of thousands of dog owners every year. She does this all while traveling just a small fraction of the time that she used to travel. Now, none of these stories are typical. After all, no one is typical. But what is typical is that after you do your first successful launch, well, you immediately start planning that next launch. Your life will never be the same again. But if you decide to pass up this investment, I can guarantee you this: your life won't be any better tomorrow than it is today. Now is your time. It's time to step up and join thousands of other PLF owners. There's never been a better time, but you have to act now. Registration is closing soon. Now is the time to act. Enroll in Product Launch Formula and bring the awesome power of a properly executed launch into your life and your business. Click the button below. Join me now. This is your time. I'd love to serve you in building your business and creating a bigger life. Click the button now, and I'll see you on the other side.
All right, here's the deal. I got PLF because I was in a position where I had no other choice. I had to do something about my life, about my business, or I wasn't going to go any further with it. And that was my my saving grace. That was my beacon of hope. Picked it up in like 2010. Went through the modules. I went to PLF Live. I went through all the courses. I took copious notes. Did everything that you could ever imagine doing in order to make my business a success. And my civilian job, my regular job, which is actually not civilian, it's military, took over, and I ended up having to go to Iraq and Afghanistan all in the same year on a deployment. Okay guys, I had to pull over for this part. Listen, PLF is awesome, but it's not a magic pill. You're not going to throw your money into this and let it sit under your pillow and make you a lot of money. But the fact of the matter is simple. I'm a regular guy, and I'm making money at this. I'm making consecutively larger launches, and it works. Simply put, it works, but you have to put some work into it. You have to learn it first and foremost, and then you have to get out there and do it. I mean, if I can do this, you know, working 12 to 14 hours a day while deployed in Iraq and Afghanistan, I had poor internet at the best. I mean, I had my Apple laptop with me, and that was it. You know, when I was lucky enough to get online and send some emails out, I did. So out of about 26 products or so, even 5 or 6 of them I was able to launch while deployed. But it worked, bottom line. But I was able to take care of myself, take care of my niche, take care of my market. It's just simply amazing what I've been able to accomplish with this. It works.
Hi, I'm Dana Wild with The Mind Aware, and I want to tell you my product launch formula story. I started my business almost 3 years ago with one $97 product, and during the first 8 or 9 months of my business, we probably sold a couple hundred copies of that product, mainly, you know, through cashing it on favors and trying to copy what other people were doing on the internet and marketing, you know, reverse engineering, as they call it. But at some point I realized that I really needed some marketing training. And so, you know, I started searching. There were just like so many programs, and are, right? So many programs to choose from. And so I thought, how could I possibly know which one's the best one to get? Well, it occurred to me at some point that all of these other programs were using Product Launch Formula to market their programs. I mean, this was the program everybody was using to market, so of course I should start there, right? So I did. I invested in Product Launch Formula, and I studied it thoroughly, and mainly just did what Jeff told me to do in the program. And our first product launch was in June of 2011. I mean, you just can't imagine. I practically fell off my chair when we realized what we had done. We use product launch formula every time we launch that same product. And in fact, we use product launch formula every time we market anything in our business, because we know that if we use these principles, we'll be successful. And so besides thanking Jeff Walker for creating this amazing system, I just want to say I'm a nearly 50-year-old woman. I never had an internet business before 3 years ago. And so if I can make this work, then Product Launch Formula can help you too. And I highly recommend investing in it.
Hi, my name is Barry Friedman, and I'd like to tell you how Jeff Walker's Product Launch Formula, hundreds of entertainers from around the world, and this pin, which held together the pieces of my shattered collarbone, are all connected. On February 18th of 2007, I took a spectacular flight off my mountain bike. The landing, less brilliant. It led to surgery and a 6-month recovery. The physical therapist was so excited when I was able to feel and remove a quarter from a bucket of kidney beans. Well, that accomplishment was a far cry from where I needed to be. As a 4-time world juggling champion and professional entertainer, I had spent the last 25 years touring the world, performing at high-profile corporate events, trade shows, sales meetings, and theaters. I had no idea if I'd ever be able to juggle again. During recovery, I started asking myself, what else am I good at doing? The answer I came up with? I'm really good at selling a juggling act for a lot of money. Shortly after that, I discovered Jeff Walker and the Product Launch Formula. What I learned from Jeff through PLF and the live event is that as someone who has knowledge that can change lives, it was my responsibility to create a platform where others could see themselves in my message. A completely different paradigm from the good old, hey, want to buy my program? The truth is, I've always done pretty well. I long ago blew away every projection that was thrown at me about how bad my life would be as a professional juggler. Jeff Walker and PLF have truly impacted hundreds of entertainers around the world who will never know his name. It's because of what Jeff taught me that those people were open to hearing about a bigger version of themselves. They joined my program and now play at a higher level. Yesterday, I closed registration on my 7th running of the Showbiz Blueprint, sold out again. If you have expertise and knowledge and are wondering how to turn it into a program that can touch lives around the world, I can't recommend PLF highly enough. Hey, if I can do it for jugglers, clowns, magicians, ventriloquists, imagine what you can do for your tribe. Good luck.
Hi, my name's Scott Ferguson, and I originally purchased the Product Launch Formula because my software business was struggling to survive. It was October of 2010, and the recession was in full swing and strangling the life out of my business. We had gone months without a single new customer, and I have 5 people on my team, including myself, with families all looking to me to figure out how to keep things going. You know, how to pay the bills, how to feed the kids. And as you can imagine, money was incredibly tight. And I decided to invest in Product Launch Formula. And we were able to follow the formula, and that revenue saved us. It saved us from closing the doors, and it gave us a whole new way to market, and has helped us to get to 7 figures and counting with that business where we are today. So I'm walking you over to a new business that we've started. It's a second business completely based on Product Launch Formula. And now I'm about to show you some gear that we've got set up because we have started recording content every week for our new Product Launch Formula membership. And you don't have to have all this gear to do Product Launch Formula. All you need is a camera. You don't even need a camera, really. But I thought it'd be cool for everybody to see how far you could take it. And this is our new studio that we just put together. Hey guys, what's up? So this is our new studio that we just put together to produce Product Launch Formula content for our new members. Would I recommend Product Launch Formula? Yes, absolutely. Would I buy it all over again? Yes, in a heartbeat. There's no question about it. Jeff, you're doing a great job with the product, and I'm really excited to see what you've got in store for the next version of PLF.
Hey, my name's Marco, and I'm a magician. So I do magic shows, and I never saw a magician until I was in my mid-20s, and that always really bothered me. So I launched a contest on YouTube for children all over the world, and whoever won the contest, I would actually come to their city, anywhere in the world, and perform a free magic show. So I started getting like millions of views, and I get a winner, and it's an 8-year-old boy who lives on a small island in the Baltic Sea. So I arrive there and I perform a show for his friends, his family members. It's totally pandemonium because nobody actually thought I was going to show up. The media was there. It was just crazy. It shut down the whole town. It was a town of like 500. And there hadn't been a magician there in over 100 years. And during all of this, I'm getting flooded with emails from children all over the world asking me to teach them to do magic. And they ask me, do you have a product, do you have a book, or a deck of cards that you sell that I can learn this stuff from? And I didn't, and I didn't really feel like, you know, it's even possible to sell something online because I had actually tried it some years before, and I had a product that sat on my site for like 2 years. I didn't sell one, and I just thought, you know, okay, the only way you can sell stuff, you have to be a big corporation or something like Amazon. But I came across PLF, and something just told me to just do it. So I did it. I went through the course, and just like Jeff said, I qualified the avatar, and they told me exactly what they wanted, a trick deck of cards with 0 sleight of hand that could be totally examined, that fooled anybody who saw it. So I did that. I launched it on December 23rd, which was horrible timing because that's when you know, all the holiday shopping had been done. But that's just when I finished, and I just wanted to just test this out. And so I opened the cart on the 23rd. I wake up on the 24th, and I check my email, and there's all these charges that had come through in the middle of the night of parents who had bought their kids, like, you know, these trick decks of cards, and it was just awesome. And you know, the 2 big changes for me were, you know, I actually now have a roadmap to do this over and over. And the other thing was when I went to PLF Live, you know, I used to think I was alone, but when I got there, I realized there's a whole secret society of people that are going after their dreams and trying to monetize their talents and skills to help others. So that's my story. So thanks, Jeff.
Hey Jeff, tonight's my last night delivering pizza. That's right, about 2 months ago, I was laid off from a project very suddenly. This project, my family and I, my wife, my 2 small kids, ages 9 and 11, were devastated with a sudden collapse of income when this project fell through. And we didn't have a good plan B lined up. We honestly didn't have much in terms of savings. And so we had to go out and apply for food stamps. My wife took a $10 an hour, 30-hour-a-week job. I went out and started delivering pizza in the evenings while I tried to build a business during the day. We sold pretty much everything we could possibly sell just to make ends meet over the last couple of months. I got involved in Product Launch Formula about 2 years ago, Jeff. You may remember me in 2011. We met out at the Product Launch Formula live event in Arizona. And at that event, you asked a profound question that's been sitting with me and stirring within me for the last couple of years. The question was why? What is my big reason why I get up in the morning? Why am I the way I am? What do I have to offer the world in terms of my gifts and my strength? And the only thing I've been missing as I've been blogging and building my list over the last 2 years is a product. What could I possibly offer the world in terms of a product? And so I finally, in this moment of desperation, put together the outline and the materials for a coaching course that would enable and empower others to find their gifts and their strengths as artists and entrepreneurs and come alive in what they do and earn an income doing what they love. And so I did a seed launch just 2 weeks ago, Jeff, and I'm excited to say that I've had, out of the 700 that I launched this to, I had over 20 people sign up in a pay-what-you-can model for a mastermind coaching course. And it's provided us with enough income stability as a family to really get us to that next level. We're so excited because I have another launch planned for November and an even bigger one with JV partners in early 2014. So there's big things to come for us, Jeff, and I just want to thank you and say how much we appreciate you as a family and what you're doing in the world. You've meant the world to us in this time of need, and Product Launch Formula works. We're living proof as a family. My name is Jason Spencer, and I build tribes. You can reach me at tribe.ly.
Hi everybody, I'm Greg Bishop, and I want to talk a little bit about my experience using the Product Launch Formula from Jeff Walker and how it's impacted my life. Right off the bat, when I took the program, I devoured it. I was so hungry, I loved it, I went over it more than one time, and I went through all the videos, which, not just the first ones, I went through all of them, and I went through them all again. And I wanted to practice this. I wasn't very confident that I was good at choosing a niche or how to do video or how to do all this stuff, and I felt like if I just, instead of feeling like I put a lot of pressure on myself to do a certain business, I just choose a niche that wasn't as important to me, but I'd just practice and put it together. And so I chose business for photography and put together 3 videos that teach how to do business as a photographer, and then asked 3 bloggers to make a short post and just a comment, and they did, and sent traffic to me, and I got crazy high returns and ended up with 924 sign-ups for the free videos in the first 48 hours. And then that just kept growing to like 1,700 after the first week. And I was just blown away at how fast and how successful it was. So this thing that started out as an experiment just to see how it worked, the formula worked so well that I ended up having a potential business on my hand. The other thing that I did, because I really wanted to practice and learn, is I actually went and found some other businesses in my community, people that were authors or coaches or trainers or things like that, and offered to be the one to apply the principles I'd learned from Jeff Walker's program in their business. And I didn't lie to them. I told them straight up that I was somewhat new at this. I'd run other businesses, I'd done other stuff in the past, but I'm just going to take Jeff Walker's program and apply it into their business, and that allowed me to get consulting money from them and practice and to build a team. So I ended up having a videographer and a video editor, and I got to try out a bunch of different software tools, and I got to just kind of practice until I felt comfortable with all the pieces of the business. And so it was financially this huge return where I'm getting paid to learn something I loved. I was totally loving this. And so I'm right now at the point where I feel like I've done that practice. And I realize lots of you guys just go out and hit it out of the park on day one, and kudos to you, but apparently I wanted to practice this in a little safer way. And so I'm super excited. I've got a niche that I'm ready to go after. I feel super clear on where I'm going and what I'm doing next. And to me, Jeff's program provides not only the roadmap and the guideposts and the instructions on how to get through the roadmap, but it provides a compass so that every day I can focus on the things that are the most important, and I know which direction I should be going on. And if I ever deviate or get off, I know how to get back on there. And so it's been super instrumental to me. I've certainly appreciated it, and it has been one of the most rewarding personal development experiences that I've had in my entire career. So thanks a lot, Jeff, and anybody else should go check it out.
Have you ever wondered how to do an effective email marketing campaign? I have. Hi, I'm Geraldine Barry, and as an entrepreneur and publisher, I've often wondered how I could leverage the internet to get more business. And as a businesswoman, I have attended seminars or workshops every year to try and build my business or to learn some new profitable tips that I can implement. And this year, in May, I was fortunate enough to see Jeff Walker share his product launch formula on stage. As an immigrant who came to the US from Ireland 25 years ago, I've had the opportunity to go to college here, build businesses here, and now living in the Silicon Valley, where disruption of businesses and innovation is really important, I feel like I haven't explored the possibilities that the internet offers. And so when I saw Jeff speak, he resonated with me. He wasn't some slick, fast-talking salesperson. He really shared the basics for doing an email campaign or internet marketing campaign that I could embrace. So how did Jeff's work impact me? First of all, it motivated me and inspired me to put a product together myself. I thought, well, let me test this thing. And so I developed a 7-week coaching program and limited the numbers that were able to participate, and in virtually no time it sold out. So there's nothing like the imminent deadline to make you perform, and it was 7 weeks, so every week I would write the section for next time. And at the end of 7 weeks I got such great feedback from it, I did it again. I thought, well, maybe that was a fluke, and it sold out again. So what I discovered people really want to hear from me and possibly you on your area of expertise and how they can be effective. In my case, it's real estate investing and how to create long-term financial stability. What it requires a little time and effort and a little hand-holding. I can provide that. And Jeff has given me the courage to put together a program, and I'm amazed at how much progress I've made and how positive the feedback is in terms of results. There's nothing better than that when people have results from the information that you share. So I am so excited. I'm going to do a major product launch coming up. That secret weapon that I utilized to take it to the next level, Jeff Walker, is available at your fingertips also. That's how I roll. I want results, and that's what I got.